And in some breaking news coming in, the Pakistan High Court has refused to accept the Lashkar mastermind Abu Dujana's body. This is for the first time in 27 years that the Jammu and Kashmir police had approached the Pakistan High Commission. In past, foreign terrorists were buried in the state itself, but this is for the first time the Jammu and Kashmir police approaching the Pakistan High Commission. But the big news is that Pakistan has refused to accept the body of Abu Dujana, who was eliminated in a fierce encounter between the three security forces, the CRPF, the army and the state police. Sudhir Ranjan Sen joins us for more on this. Sudhir, so just why the refusal and why did the Jammu and Kashmir police approach the Pakistan High Commission this time around?
Well, to begin with, Pakistan accepting the bodies of, their own nationals who are in India, terrorists in Jammu Kashmir. It's nothing new, because if you look at even during the Kargil war, Pakistan refused to take back the bodies of their own soldiers. So this is a very, it falls into a pattern that we have seen earlier. It's maintaining a level of deniability, saying that these people are not our own people, whereas there is enough or a mountain of evidence, so to say, to suggest that these people belong not only to Pakistan, their addresses are known, their family members are also known by the security agencies, but just to keep up the charade of not, being involved or not supporting and aiding and abetting terror in India, Pakistan continues to refuse the dead bodies of such people. And the reason why Jammu Kashmir police would have approached, unlike in past occasions where their bodies have been buried in unmarked graves in Jammu and Kashmir, is just to call the bluff, in the sense that we know very clearly that this Abu Dujana's address, he comes from Pakistani terrorists. So to call the bluff, you need to make this offer, so to say, to Pakistan that this national, we are very welcome. You are very welcome to take back the body for a decent burial.
No, and expose them at the same time, isn't it, Sudhir? I mean, speaking of this farce, the charade, the pretense that Pakistan, puts up, they can extend the house arrest of, Hafiz Saeed, but they refuse to accept the body of Abu Dujana, only exposes their double standards.
Absolutely. I mean, it is clearly maintaining double. It just goes on with to maintain the double standard, so to say, because India has time and again produced enough evidence before Pakistan, and not only in this case, but in strings of terror-related cases, including in 26/11, where the bodies of the terrorists had to be disposed of here. Pakistan used to take back those bodies, saying that they are not their nationals, when it was very clearly known that there was evidence. So in the case of Abu Dujana, it's just maintaining that charade that we are not involved. These are your own people. So Pakistan would want to give it a touch that the terrorism, that the violence that we are seeing in Jammu Kashmir is an indigenous movement, and they have nothing to do with. Whereas the truth is completely opposite.
Oh, absolutely. Executive Editor Gaurav Sawant is also with us. Gaurav, this big news, and for the first time in so many years, Jammu and Kashmir police approaching the Pakistan High Commission only to hear a denial from them.
It's after 27 years that India approached Pakistan. The police in Jammu and Kashmir approached Pakistan to take back the body of Abu Dujana, a terrorist from Pakistan. Before this, the Mumbai police had done that after the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, when they'd asked Pakistan to take back 9 bodies and also own up to Ajmal Amir Kasab. But despite such open evidence, Pakistan hadn't done that either in 2008 after 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. And on expected lines, Pakistan has once again denied Abu Dujana as a Pakistani. But now his dead body will be taken to Uri. Foreign terrorists, their bodies are taken to an unmarked area in Uri, and all foreign terrorists are then buried in graves at the line of control in case Pakistan doesn't accept those bodies, Avantika.
All right, Sudhir Ranjan Sen and Gaurav Sawant, thank you both for joining us. Clashes erupted in Jammu and Kashmir's Pulwama after another civilian succumbed to injuries that were received during Abu Dujana's encounter. Angry residents, in fact, clashed with the security forces after the death of Abu Dujana. Two civilians, in fact, who were caught in the crossfire have tragically lost their lives. Shuja Haq joins us for more on this. And Shuja, you know, that's perhaps why the state police reiterates time and again how it's absolutely important not to disrupt or thwart an anti-terror operation.
Well, that's right, and this has been one of the major concerns for the entire security establishment. The manner in which people start coming out and try to disrupt the encounters and without caring for their own lives is something that the state government and the other agencies have been really worried about. This not only goes on to show that there are some people on the ground who clearly are in support of those militants who are trapped or caught inside those encounter sites, but also at the same time the lack of engagement from the political class in these areas. Overall, this trend has been something that was triggered from 2016 after that Burhan Wani encounter and still continues. Even constantly there have been reminders sent across by the state police, the state government that people should not disrupt encounters, but that really does not seem to be helping. Yesterday also we saw one individual, a local boy, dying in firing, and another one who was injured died this morning. Today also there have been more clashes that were reported from some parts of South Kashmir.
You know, if I may bring in Gaurav Sawant also on the casualties during that encounter in which Abu Dujana was eliminated. Gaurav, yesterday I was listening to the IG Jammu and Kashmir Police, Munir Khan, where he stressed how important these operations are and how they will continue irrespective of attempts being made by the locals to thwart an anti-terror operation.
The police and the army have a very clear strategy. Anti-terrorist operations will continue, and yesterday there were two things that both Munir Khan and General Sandhu said. One, that the local terrorist Arif Dar, who was a budding cricketer, he apparently wanted to surrender. He wanted to give up, and that's the time that security forces actually tried that he gives up. An effort was made to get both Abu Dujana and Arif to give up, but unfortunately because of Arif Dar, even the local terrorists did not give up and surrender. That is why they had to be killed. But what is very strange is the fact that you have a terrorist like Abu Dujana, who according to IG Munir Khan entered any house at will, molested women in Kashmir at will, and women in South Kashmir are actually relieved, according to the police there, that he's dead, and yet there are protests on the streets of Kashmir. So this completely defies logic, except the police says to a large extent some of these protests are coerced. People are forced to come out and protest. Security forces first request people to go back. In case they do not, yesterday incidentally there were 5 pellet injuries also. They used a pellet gun. When people did not go back, police had to open fire, in which 2 lives, one yesterday and one this morning, were lost.
Right, Gaurav, I'll just request you to stay on, but Shuja, thanks so much for joining us. Moving on to some other news, India today has accessed the list of the most wanted terrorists in Kashmir after the elimination of Lashkar's Abu Dujana. 6 terrorists are at the top of the security forces hit list. Zakir Musa, who recently reportedly joined the Al-Qaeda, and Riaz Naiku, the commander of the Hizbul Mujahideen, feature in that list of the most wanted terrorists in South Kashmir. And other top terrorists include Lashkar-e-Taiba's Zinat ul Islam, Wasim, and Huzaifa. Abu Hamas of the Jaish-e-Mohammed is also at the top of the most wanted lists. Okay, so that is the list now after the killing of Abu Dujana, who was in fact the mastermind of several militant attacks in Srinagar. The list that has been released now. Gaurav Sawant is with us, and Gaurav, what really is the purpose to make this list public, and what really will be the strategy now of the security forces to, corner these 6 big guys as well?
You know, the terrorists indulge in a lot of propaganda. Terrorists you come out with videos with, religious music and 20, 30 terrorists together roaming around openly with weapons in a way trying to lure youngsters to join terror ranks. The security forces, on the other hand, they're on the offensive. This year alone, 117 terrorists have been killed, and this is the highest ever number of terrorists being killed in the first 7 months of any year. 117 terrorists eliminated. There is a hit list that the army is given out. The message is, you join terror ranks, you have a limited shelf life. And that is something that they're actually doing. Abu Dujana was amongst the luckier ones who survived from 2010 to 2017. But that is also because he went underground in between. He married a local girl, started living with some other women and all of that. If there's an active gun-wielding terrorist, according to security forces, this is the list. And those terrorists have a limited shelf life. A lot of intelligence is now coming the way of the security forces from locals themselves, parents of these girls, relatives of these girls. In some cases, the husband of one of the women had informed the police about, terrorists forcing his wife to come to the jungles and meet them. So all of that provides a lot of intelligence, and the army has a hit list, and every battalion has been told that they have X number of days to eliminate terrorists in their area.
Oh, that's an interesting bit of information that you've shared, Gaurav. Kamaljeet Sandhu also joins us for more on this terror hit list, Kamaljeet, that has been prepared by the security forces. Tell us a little bit more about Abu Hamas, who also features in, the list of the most wanted.
Well, Abu Hamas is one of those Pakistani who has been active since 2016. And now Abu Dujana is gone. We know Abu Ismail, who is the current mastermind of Amarnath Yatra attack itself, but his name is not figuring in that top 6, but obviously he will be on the hit list. We've been speaking to IG Kashmir Munir Khan. He said he is definitely on the hit list of security forces. But yes, this is important now with at least the Zakir Musa, names of Riaz Naiko. Remember, he's the Hizbul Mujahideen commander. These two names figuring on the top list. What is more important is that security forces at this point of time have concentrated on breaking the backbone of terror operatives in South Kashmir, and more or less with at least top 6 eliminated of the top 12, only 6 others are left. You remember the first list itself came on 1st of June 2017. Since June itself, in 3 months' time, they've eliminated top 6. The other list itself will continue, and remember, before September, October, we've been told the government has set up a target that the elimination of all top terrorists needs to be done.
Right, Kamalji. Thank you so much for joining us. In some more breaking news coming in. China has released a 15-page Doklam statement demanding quote-unquote unconditional withdrawal. The statement accusing India of using Bhutan as a pretext, saying, and I quote, as a third party, India has no right to interfere in or impede the boundary talks between China and Bhutan. China has also issued its most brazen warning yet, saying, and I quote, no country should ever underestimate the resolve of the Chinese government and people to defend China's territorial sovereignty, and that it will take all necessary measures to safeguard its rights. Anand Krishnan joins us for more on this. More heated rhetoric from China. And this time, it's only getting more aggressive, asking for an unconditional withdrawal.
That's right, Avantika. We've had many statements from China this past month. This is the longest yet. It's pretty remarkable, a 15-page document released by Beijing and by its embassy in Delhi as well. As you said, it demands an unconditional immediate withdrawal. And interestingly, it also devotes a lot of attention to Bhutan and says that this current dispute has nothing to do with India. India has no right to interfere or impede the boundary talks between China and Bhutan. So it's a very strong statement from Beijing, Avantika. We've heard it before, but I guess this is perhaps different in its sheer length, which is pretty remarkable, in 15 pages aimed at rebutting what India has been arguing over the past few weeks.
Gaurav Sawant also continues to remain with us. Gaurav, you know, we've been seeing this kind of aggressive posturing and these intimidating statements from the Chinese for the longest time now. Why hasn't this particular issue been able to been resolved diplomatically?
You know, the statement is very interesting. It does point to a scaling down of India's deployment, according to China, from a point that India had 400 troops in a standoff, face-off to face-off with Beijing, you know, at the Doklam Plateau. The number now, at least in that face-off, according to China, is down to 40. But India cannot move back because India says this is detrimental to the country's national security, and India came to Bhutan's aid. So there are two issues here, and India will not withdraw unilaterally till the time Beijing also assures Delhi that there will be no road construction in this area. So there is a mechanism in place for the two countries bilaterally, you know, China and Bhutan, and China and India, and of course India and Bhutan, in all cases bilaterally, to sort out this issue and move forward. So China continues with its psychological warfare. India hoping that things will move forward, but refusing, you know, to back off, so to say. Now, from what my sources in the Defence Ministry tell me, India is now prepared for a long standoff to continue in this area and to be deployed there in this region through the winters. And this perhaps then is likely to be one more place where India remains deployed through the year, in case there's a solution that's not found in this. Despite China's rhetoric, you know, the situation, as far as the understanding in both the Defence Ministry and the Foreign Ministry, is that ultimately the two countries will have a dialogue to resolve this issue.
All right, Anant and Gaurav, thank you both for joining us.